I don't know if I can relate to his situation. All of our situations are different, totally different, actually. They tried to build something great for him, and obviously they did enough to keep him there. And I think it's great that he's staying there. He's committed to that franchise, and and that's what it's all about. So, but I don't think my situation, his situation, it's no similarities, and it's totally different. I think Taylor is first of all, I mean, obviously the basketball, we can see what he's capable of doing. For him to be 20 years old, he hasn't even scratched the surface yet of what he's going to be. But the kid can flat out play. I saw it about 3.5, 4 years ago. I was watching a high school basketball game, and I happened to catch Simeon playing. And I told our agent at the time, it's now Taylor's agent, Rich Paul, told my agent, I said, you need to take a look at this kid, Taylor Horton Tucker, that's at Simeon. I think, the kid is super talented. This is like 4 years ago. Long story short, I mean, obviously, you see what he's doing now. And he's going to continue to get better and better and better. The kid is super talented. This is like 4 years ago. Long story short, I mean, obviously, you see what he's doing now. And he's going to continue to get better and better and better, as the days goes on. He get an opportunity to practice against us, the guys as veterans and things of that nature. So he's going to continue to improve, and he's going to do some really good things in this league for a long time.
Good, Frank. Just wondering if you had a chance to think about rotation, who's going to be in there tomorrow, and how you guys want to approach it as you get ever closer to the regular season.
Yeah, continue to grow each day. The only guy injury-wise that will be out for tomorrow's game, I should say doubtful, is Caruso is still doubtful. Still has some soreness in his hip flexor, so he'll be listed as doubtful. I do plan on playing AD and LeBron some first half minutes, but just to kind of get their feet wet. And as of right now, I think everybody else will be available.
Frank, what did you see on the film from the first two games? What did you like on offense? What did you like on defense? And of course, the grand salt here is you didn't have some of your key guys, but of course your two stars. But what stood out to you in those two games?
Well, we're playing hard. That's it is still sloppy, but we're playing hard. The defensive end in particular, there's a lot of room for improvement there. Offensively, I really like the way we worked for shot quality. Played through Marcus Gasol at the high post with all the cutting, and his unselfishness I thought was contagious for the group, because really everybody else was thinking extra pass when they got passes from him. So some good things on both sides.
Hey Frank, two questions. One, are Kostas and Devontae back with the team?
They are back with the team. They have been cleared from the health and safety protocols from the league. They have been cleared to return, yes.
Okay, great. You said, I think it was before one of these preseason games, that you wanted your team to kind of continue to have that sort of try harder mentality, play harder mentality. Did you see that in those first two games against the Clippers, that the guys on the court tried harder and played harder?
Well, I wouldn't compare them to what the other team was doing, but I do feel like we played with great effort, and the effort piece is just has to be part of our identity. It's a habit. I do feel like we played with great effort, and the effort piece is just has to be part of our identity. It's a habit that you build throughout the regular season that becomes second nature and instinctual in the playoffs, and we competed at a very high level in those playoff games as a result of that habit we built in the regular season. So that'll be the intent this year, and I do feel like we played with great effort in the first two preseason games.
Dave? Frank, when something happens in the league, like Giannis that's proposed signing a max extension, as that news came out this morning, do you game out how the league landscape can look? Is that something that you're monitoring when news like that occurs, especially considering you guys are the defending champs and he's the back-to-back defending MVP?
I just kind of take it with a grain of salt. Obviously it's if he ends up signing, it's a great thing for the Milwaukee Bucks to be able to keep a player of that stature. I really just react to these moves as they come and see how they impact the competitive landscape of what we're about to face.
Hey Frank, just touching back on Devontae and Kostas, is there any context you can give to the nature of the excuse absence from Sunday and kind of going forward? Is there factors that players and staff can control, procedural or being careful or otherwise that can help reduce the number of those kinds of absences that you guys might have this year?
Yeah, I mean it's what every team's talking about. We have to follow the protocols as closely as possible. That's the only way to potentially try to reduce it. But we're at the mercy of the virus and of the testing protocols. And I can't really get into any more detail about what happened with this weekend and why they're back so quickly. But definitely following the protocols as closely as we can. In some circumstances could potentially reduce it.
Wayne Rankin?
Thank you. Coach, obviously you got Phoenix for the next 2 preseason games, and they made some additions with Chris and Jay Crowder. What do you see when you look at that unit? And what's the thing you want to accomplish in this first preseason game with LeBron and AD?
Yeah, I mean, I think with answering your second question first, with LeBron and AD, I just want to see them go out and try to get a rhythm, get comfortable with some of their new teammates, and try to get their legs under them a little bit. We've been trying to intentionally every day monitor the amount of work we put on those guys after the shortest offseason in history. And, that'll be no different with these next 2 preseason games. In terms of what the Phoenix Suns have done, obviously, they're a team that's going to be a force in the Western Conference. Obviously, Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, that shows last year that he can still carry the team and dominate. And, obviously, Devin Booker and Ayton and, a lot of the rest of the guys they have on their team, really showed what they did in the bubble, the way they finished their season. I think will probably be a momentum builder for them. And like I said, with the additions that they've made, I expect them to be a great team this year.
All right, we'll take more. Alan Sleeman.
Hey, Coach. I know a lot of the conversation has been about the depth on the team. Can you just talk about how you balance having such a lineup you can go 10, 11, 12 deep, and then also during the season kind of taking that balance and making sure that guys know their minutes, they know when they're coming in, they know who they're playing with. What's that balance like?
Yeah, it's tricky, but it's definitely a good problem, and one that we're fortunate enough to have. And I'm excited just to see to be able to play around with a lot of different combinations throughout the year. And try to use this balance, and it's just it's going to be one of those things that where our guys need to understand we have one of the deepest teams in the league and really in recent memory, and I think everybody's aligned with our group has one goal, and that's to win a championship, and however our guys can fit into the puzzle the right way, our guys are willing to do.
We'll take one more, and then Kyle has a quick follow-up. Maximilian?
Thanks for the question, Head Coach. Just wondering, after working with Ben Schroeder for a few days, how happy are you with what you've seen or not seen so far?
He hasn't surprised me at all because I've had high expectations, and he's been living up to it. He plays with great speed and competitive spirit, He's got a skill set that is very dynamic in the modern NBA that plays with offensive space, with his ability to attack off the bounce and use the speed in the open court and with his cutting. And he's tenacious on the defensive end. So I'm very happy with the start that he's off to and excited about what he's going to mean to our team this year.
The last thing for Kyle.
And when it comes to LeBron and AD, and the minutes that they're going to get for these last two games, is that dictated by the things you've seen in practice and you're saying, okay, these guys are ready to go, or is it just a matter of, hey, guys, we only have